Welcome back, everybody, to The Hannibal TV. I'm here with an exclusive report we have for you out of Iowa. We have a MUFON investigation going on into a specific situation that happened out in a remote area of Iowa, and we'll let Chad take over the story as it's his story. But we wanted to bring it to the channel because here lately, as you all know, we've been covering a lot of politics inside the community. There's a lot of headline stories. There's a lot of Congress going on. There's, you name it. So we inundate you guys and gals with a lot of the, what's going on in the headlines. What we're trying to do is actually go out and speak to more experiencers. So what you saw last week or week before last, we brought in author Gene and Jim Allrack from MUFON, Massachusetts, to talk about their experience or story. And we have more that are reaching out to us, and we wanted to bring some of those to you in the community and highlight some of those. So tonight I have with me Chad and David. Chad is the actual person who lived through this, and David is the MUFON investigator in Iowa. We will allow them to do some introductions, but it should be a special treat. Hope everybody sits tight. We're going to give everybody plenty of time to tell their story. And, we hope you enjoy the video ahead. So let's start off with Chad. Chad, any introductions you want to give us about yourself or anything you want to say or not say? It's up to you. But, just wanted to know anything you wanted to introduce about yourself.
No, we'll just keep it private for right now.
That's fine. That's fine. But I think one good thing to know about you from what you've told me is you're a guy's guy, right? I mean, you're not really someone who's involved in this community, right? You've not been an active ufology fan, for example.
Nope, never. Up until a couple of years ago. And I tell you what, the shit that I would have never believed, I believe it now. It's crazy. So, yeah.
All right. And Dave, we'll go ahead and start with you as well, if you want to do some introductions on your end and your background.
Yeah, I joined MUFON in 2009, and a couple years after that, I became the chief investigator for MUFON. I've investigated hundreds of cases by now, and I'm also an author.
Okay, great. Yeah. And I'm going to mute Dave back. Every now and then, fans, if you hear a little bit of feedback, we're taking care of it on our end, so just hang with us. But yeah, I'm so glad the two guys joined us and wanted to talk about the story. I will bring this up here. If it causes any lag, we may zip it right back down. But let's hop right into the story then, and let's talk about what got you, Chad, in contact with David. What happened, and if you want to just take us through maybe the start of that evening, the encounter that you had. And what I'll try to do is I'll try to pull up some of the photos that you've sent me that were showcased in the MUFON Journal as you speak, just to give the fans some reference. But we'll let you just take it right off the top here.
Sure. I know I didn't talk a little bit about myself, but I used to be a process engineer. I've been traveling around the world. Mom got sick a few years ago, so I came back to Iowa. As I've been sitting back here helping her for a little bit, my sister, she was a dispatcher for a third-party contractor for LifeServe. So they drove around that state of Iowa and outside Iowa. They'd pick up blood, drop off blood back at the drop-off zones. So this particular night was March 28th. I got a call that night to head out to Mason City. And I dropped some blood off there and then go off to Algona. Got into Algona, the hospital, about 2 o'clock in the morning. As soon as I pulled out of the parking lot, I was heading down the road. I was looking at my driver's side mirror, and I was telling my sister it looked like a car was following me. She's like, it's just probably lights that was, from the town that was before us. Well, it was about 20 minutes outside of town. I said, I'm telling you, it looks like a car is following me, but it's not a car. So I took a picture of it and I sent it to her. This entire time we was on the phone over the Bluetooth over the vehicle. And I started trying to take some videos. Well, I couldn't do the videos because I'm on Bluetooth. So I hung up the phone. Well, she immediately called me right back. And she's like, hey, get the hell out of there. Roll your window up. I could see faces in there. Well, that just spooked the shit out of me. So I got, I don't know, maybe 5 or 10 minutes down the road, and I kept seeing these lights that was coming out of the sky. It looked like orbs, or, I'm not from this UFO stuff, but I seen lights. Now I will call them orbs, but I kept seeing them dropping out of the sky. And then I seen this big flash behind me. I don't know if you got some of those pictures that was on there. You can show them. So she sent me the picture back. That was, you can see the 4 objects that was in the side of my mirror. So anyways, I was seeing these lights that was coming down. I seen this streak come out of the sky right directly behind me. So I got pissed off and I pulled off the other side of the road. I got out and I hollered at him. It was the weird part is I was like, leave me the fuck alone. And as I said that, you could see this white square object in the center of the road. There's 3 other objects that was on the passenger side behind my vehicle, and one it was on the driver's side, and it was in this roundness, and it looked like it dissipated. And the one that I really paid attention to was on the driver's side of the road. It looked like it turned into a freaking animal. And it was far enough away, but it looked like it was in a crouched position. I got back in my vehicle and I hauled ass. It just spooked the shit out of me. When I took off, you can see that animal looking thing like go back into this orb or roundness, and it was zigzagging down the road. Off to my right hand side, I can see out of my mirrors things were dropping out of the sky again. There was a lot of them. They didn't come like way up in the sky, maybe like above the telephone poles. And I looked back over to my side mirror again, and that animal orb looking thing that I seen on the driver's side slammed into the side of my vehicle. As it hit my vehicle, you can feel my vehicle hit the rumble strips. Now my sister's on the phone the entire time with me, almost this 2-hour trip. Yeah. And I'm freaking the hell out. I'm telling my sister it's in the back seat of my vehicle. And I'm turning around looking, and I can't see nothing, but you can hear something back here. And I'm just freaked the hell out. I had that Equinox probably about 100, 120 miles an hour. It didn't stop. I just kept going. Yeah, I was spooked the hell out. So as I kept going, I can hear this thing in the back of my vehicle. I see a semi coming up the road. So as I pulled up behind the semi, I got right up on his ass end. My sister's like, what are you doing? I was like, well, I'm going to try to get in front of the semi and feel safe. And she was like, just stay behind it. I tried to pass that semi, I don't know, maybe about a minute or two. And all these lights were flashing by me, orbs or lights, whatever you want to call them. But they was clear down the road. They looked like they was coming back up, like oncoming cars. It wasn't a car at all. So yeah. I'm telling my sister, I said, it looks like they're fucking with me. So I pulled around that semi. Casey, life of me, bud, this is the truth. I got in front of that semi. So as soon as I got in front of that semi, I met that speed. That semi was gone. It didn't pull offside the road. It didn't flip. It didn't turn. It was like that quick. As soon as that happened, I can hear my speakers in my vehicle. They were humming. My vehicle was vibrating, and whatever was in the back seat, I can just hear it going back and forth. I'm looking. I can see all these lights and these orbs. They're just up and down this field. It's the craziest shit. And I'm telling my sister, I don't feel right. I had this weird feeling come over me. And she was like, what are you talking about? I said, I don't know. I don't feel weird. I had this weird feeling. Tell my family I love them. Have no clue what even was coming out of my mouth. I felt my shoulder go down like something was getting in my body. The craziest shit. And I heard these 2 words come out of my mouth. TAD, T-A-D, T-A-D. My sister can hear this. My speakers on the vehicle, they started distorting again. Like it was the craziest shit. I looked behind my rearview mirror and I could see this solid white object that I seen earlier hauling ass down the road. I told my sister it looks like a double wide side garage that was coming down the road. And it came down there and it just tipped up, went over the back of my vehicle. It's the last thing I remember. I don't remember nothing for the next hour and 29 minutes. And then that's where you can see the entities that you would see across in front of my vehicle.
And
so that's that part.
Yeah. And this particular road that you're traveling there, just to also set the scene of that for people, it's not common for you to be seeing lights and traffic. No, it is a dark road. It's a Highway 169. There's multiple farm, houses out there.
There's not a whole lot of signs. I drove this area 100 times. Yeah.
Wow. So, and David, from your background in that area and doing investigations and things like that, I mean, is that a common occurrence, like in these rural areas, to see strange lights out in some of these areas, or any airports around that location that would give Chad any clues? Or these lights were just, from what I understand, they were too low to the ground, right, to be aircraft?
Yeah.
And let me unmute you, Dave. We're working with Dave's mic. Go right ahead, Dave. We can hear you now.
Okay. This area of the state, which is pretty much in central Iowa, is a region that has generated hundreds or dozens anyway of UFO reports. It's really a high spot, as you know, from Crystal Lake, which is sort of in the northern part of Iowa, all the way down to southern border of Iowa. This is a hot spot, and I have probably investigated, 10 to 15 cases in this area alone. A lot of triangular cases, and cases also like Chad has been talking about.
Okay. Yeah, and that's why I was curious. I've heard of a couple stories like this, remote western areas of our country, that some of those roads, this isn't like the East Coast or some of these popularized areas of the West Coast where I'm out here on the interstate at 2 a.m. I have plenty of light. I'm always with traffic, even at 2, 3 a.m. in the morning. That's not the scenario here, right? I mean, whenever there's coming and going. So when you're on this road every night, when you're seeing any traffic coming, I mean, do you have pretty good clearance of seeing them both in front of you and behind you? I mean, is it one of those scenarios where you see them coming from half mile off? Or I don't know. I'm just trying to set the road scene. Is it a straight road? Is there a lot of curves to it? Is it mountainous? Is it just flat?
No, there's some curves. We're in Iowa, so it's flat. We got a little bit of curves in there, but no, it's all flat land. Like I said, there might be a few curves, but I'm telling you, when I left that hospital, it was 20 minutes from I left that hospital to the time I took that picture. That was a 20-minute trip that I kept seeing these lights follow me, and it looked like it was a car. And then, like I said, you've seen that in that side mirror of that picture, and you can blow them up. And the crazy part about it is it almost looked like at first it went demonic, and then it went demonic, and then it went into orbs. It went from orbs, and it looked like it went into shape-shifting. And then you go to shape-shifting, and look at the pictures that I took. I captured 43 pictures total that night. Total on my phone, and don't even remember taking half of them. That's the crazy part. That's the crazy part.
So let's pull some of those up, and then I'm going to hush up and just let you talk through some of those.
You're good.
Go right ahead.
So I don't know if you got another one on there, but this was out of my driver's side mirror that I took. This is when I sent my sister, and she sent back to me and said, "Get the hell out of it." It looked like there's faces, but in there's actually 4 figures. There's that one there, the one you see up onto the right, and there's 2 that look like little white ones that are in there. That's what the first thing I seen. That's what it looked like. It was a vehicle, out of my side mirror. It looked like it was tipped off to the side. But when she blew up on her phone when she was talking to me, she's like, "Get the hell out of there." So that's what started. That was our first picture. That was at 2:20. Yep, there you go. There's 4 beings in the back there, 4 orbs, whatever you want to call them. There you go. So when that light and the orbs, or whatever you want to call them, it was coming out of the sky that night, that was directly behind my vehicle. And I took a picture of it. It looked like a little street that went in there, but that was magnified. That's what I seen when I got out of my vehicle and said, "Leave me the hell alone." There you go. So there's 3 on that. There's that one in the middle, and you can see the one on the right there. That one on the right, I think I sent you a picture. To me, that's what it looked like. It looked like it had a mask, glowing red face. It was in a cross position, but these were all in the orb. It had this like light around it. Sorry, bud, if I get a little shaky in the voice. I haven't talked about this case for probably about 4 months, completely out. So it gets to me.
No, and that's why I'm trying to give the perspective there. That big white rectangular light back there. I mean, what's your thoughts when you first see that?
Huh?
What's your thoughts when you first see that big white rectangle?
When I got out of the vehicle, this was like within a matter of seconds when this all happened. I seen a couple objects over here that looked like this light, and it looked like they just dissipated. I didn't really pay too much attention to what the hell that white square light was, but that's what flew down the road after, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes later, down and over my vehicle, and you could just hear my vehicle just rumble. You could it's the craziest sound. But when I seen that white light, my focus was more on that right side orb, animal looking thing, because to me, you could just see it just dissipate, and it looked like it was in a running position. Scared the shit out of me. I literally got my vehicle and I was gone. But that's the one that got in my vehicle and slammed into me. These pictures right here, I don't remember taking none.
I remember you saying that in some of your notes to me. So this is part of that period where you might have said some things, took some photos, things, and there's like a little gap there on you.
Yeah, there's a weight gap. The crazy part is if you can zoom in on them, you can see a couple of them. You can see the shapes of their head, and they're looking. It'd be right down the middle of the road. Yep, you're right on them. If you scroll over. So not these ones here. Go to the ones back. There's a series. All my photos are timestamped. They're GPS located. You could follow them step by step. But if you scroll over a little bit, nope, going to the center of the road.
Yeah, I know this thing. I'm not on the best photo editor.
It'd be the white one. I think I sent you.
But yeah, you're talking about these over here where they have more of the head on them.
Nope. Go over. Okay. Go back a slide. There you go. Like the middle road. There's a white one there. Let me see if I can get in there.
Like over in here?
Nope. Go to your right. They're right there. Them two right there. There's a blue. Looks like it's got white. Nope, not that one. Go back a little bit. But if you keep zooming in, you can see. Move your hand over a little bit more. Right. Go back the other way. Go the other way.
Oh, back over here?
Yep. But not there. Go back just a little bit the way you just came.
So it's these two in the middle?
Yep, them right there. If you zoom in, you can literally see them looking at us. If you can't see a head and look like there's eyes in there,
I definitely see what you're talking about. And that's what's weird is that they have it's like a white or something in here, then red and blue, and then white again. It's like, and I didn't notice that until we zoomed in. So
So, and there's, like I said, there's a series of photos that I took and don't even remember. This is out of my front windshield because you could tell, on the right hand side, I'm driving. But David, he's got some. Him and his team, they got some information that I didn't even know up until just a few weeks ago of what they found out of this.
So, what do you think of that, David, when you see photos like that?
I'm not really a photo analysis person, but this Iowa State Director Greg Anderson and Seth Feinstein, who is very accomplished at this sort of thing, he says, Mr. Feinstein said, the metadata verifies the date and location. The witness's work and background would tend to lead one to believe he is a reliable witness. The event is confirmed by his sister on the phone. He states, I think the witness has evidence in the street image, which along with his sister's testimony, support his story. The rolling shutter camera artifact is prominent in this image. Photo forensics show what could be evidence of ant-like and large cranium species of alien figures on top of the jagged lights in the image. So these, all of the, the metadata from the photos confirm that Chad was in the place, time, and location that he said he was in. Every photo has metadata attached to it, and everything checked out with the time and date that Chad said he took those photos. So everything, there's no artifacts that could be found or any kind of manipulation. These are raw photographs from his camera.
And okay, so yeah, thank you, Dave, for sharing that. So I mean, you look at it, it's obviously original photos. You could tell, obviously, that you were probably hopping
Yeah.
out and
They're
taking
on his
some
phone. I
frantic
keep this
photos as
thing around
well.
me all the time.
Yeah. And so you've never, as just, and you don't have to share any personal information, but you or anyone in your family ever had any kind of encounters or anything
Never.
strange like
No.
this happen? Or?
No. Nope.
Okay. All right. I didn't know if it was just something, because people talk about this hitchhiker effect. I'm sure Dave has heard it before in the MUFON community. You know, people seeing things or someone close to you seeing something, and then all of a sudden everybody else in your family and friends, you know, oh, well, you know, such and such saw something else. And I did want to bring something up to fans. I don't have the video of it on here because we're experiencing a little network lag tonight. There's a lot of people on StreamYard tonight. But there is a video, and it was a little chilling because Ross Coulthart shared it in his most recent update about the New Jersey drones. He received just the same as Chad's situation here. He received an account of someone encountering a drone in New Jersey, and
today,
they pointed a laser
a
at it.
message from a guy in New Jersey who has seen one of these drones land in a New Jersey backyard. And this is what he told me. I was beaming them one night. He was illegally pointing a laser beam at one of these drones, which you should not do, naughty, even if they are NHI or whatever they are. I was beaming them one night around midnight, and the one flew straight over my backyard, stopped slightly above and to my left, and seemed to sink down into the trees along the little street on the side of my house. The next thing I see is this rectangle-looking box-like thing floating just above the street, about the size of an old Ford station wagon. It was the most incredible, starkly lit thing I've ever seen. I've never seen colours so radiant, so intensely liquid-like in my life. Several shades of blues with oranges and yellows like intense neon lights. It scared the hell out of me, and I moved away from the window so it couldn't see me. I slowly poked my head around the window, and it followed every move I made. It knew I was watching it. I would pull back, and it came up the street. I would move into the window, and it moved back down the street. It was like we were synchronized, and I was completely freaked out to the point that I quickly ran into my kitchen and considered hiding under my sink, of all things. I found myself in some sort of stupor, like I was being drugged.
And they pointed a laser at it, which I wouldn't do that. Just in case it is government, you're going to get in trouble for pointing lasers at things. But he points a laser at it, and it drops down into his yard and hovers in his yard and kind of encounters him. And guess what he says it was? He says it was a big white triangle that was down at ground level. And immediately when Ross said that, I thought of Chad's photo of the white rectangular, item sitting there. And it was
the crazy part about this here, Casey, is there's so much more to my story. Poor David, he keeps saying he's just so overwhelmed with the information that I got. But this didn't stop that night. This went on for 2 weeks straight at my house, and then it went on for the next 10 months. Not even at my house in Ankeny, at my mom's house on the east side of Des Moines. So these drones, I'm telling you, I seen some of that stuff over there as well. And I literally.
So you have had some hitchhiker effect. They are starting to pop back up on you now.
After the fact, yeah. My sister said, "Yep, it's just me," and she literally says I'm a maggot. So yeah, it's it's crazy, but it's crazy. I lived this,
but it wasn't. Yeah, and that's what's interesting in your story. You have multicolored orbs and lights going on there. The one that you show there across the street in front of your car. And even in Ross's story, he shares that. They say it was initially the white rectangle, but then it was accompanied by these multicolored lights. And you saw the same thing. You saw red, blue. I think there's a green one in there, a white one.
Yep.
It's just odd that almost what he was explaining out on the East Coast. Now, this was around the same time frame, no? I mean, when this happened, this was what, March of last year?
March of last year, yep.
March of last year.
Yep.
So this would have been before the drone craze, because I think the drone stuff started fall of last year. But it's just
last year.
Yeah, it's just interesting that what you saw is if I would have played that account to you and pulled up if I would have played Ross's account but pulled up your pictures, it would have been what Ross was explaining, and it would have been, people would have thought I was showing what Ross was talking about, but he's talking about some guy in New Jersey that saw drones out there. So I don't know.
Makes
It's
me
very
feel a lot
interesting,
better, buddy, because I feel like I'm going nuts.
Well, you'll have to watch it if you want to feel better.
Oh.
It's not on Need to Know podcast with Ross Coulthard. It's his one that he does on News Nation, and he does like a Q&A thing, and I think it's from like 2 or 3 days ago. But he details this story of someone in Jersey, and they explain something exactly like what you saw: the multicolored lights, the white rectangle. Very interesting, and it's hovering just off the ground, like what you saw. It's nothing high in the air. It's not this, and it's not even this amazing maneuvering craft. It's not like these things are going massive speeds. Like, oh, this thing had to have been going 10,000 miles an hour. It was going Mach 7 or no. You're seeing something that's just it's
normal.
It's interacting with you almost, right?
Yep.
And then
if you look through my pictures, you can literally look on that side mirror and you can look at the ground distance. They're not very high, you know.
No, and they're tracking you, and then that's the only other thing that I'll say on the Ross one, because I just find them, your situation and his, very close. They were terrorized.
Yeah.
And the front cover of this says "Terror on Iowa Highway" or something, right? You don't commonly hear that with ufology, right, David? I mean, it's not usually a terrorizing scenario. Or what do you think about that?
There has been what some people call paranormal activity along the midsection of the state, and Chad can attest to that. That, you know, it's more than UFOs. There's, you know, been all kinds of other incidences that would be classified as paranormal.
But do you ever hear people say that the incident was terrorizing?
Yeah, actually, yes. Yeah, there's. I'm covering a case right now where a person woke up with bruises on her legs, and this is after her and her friend. They were on the Mississippi River dock along an island, and they experienced what appeared to be almost like a battle taking place overhead with these light entities shooting lasers or beams at each other. The next morning, she woke up. She had all kinds of bruises on her legs, and she has filed an abduction report with MUFON now. And she was terrorized. She says, you know, she kept saying, "I'm really freaked out." And we get a lot of those where, you know, people are just plain scared because of what's. And then about a couple months ago, we had at a MUFON meeting, there's another case that I investigated. The witness had 3 implants in her body, and they showed up on an MRI too. And she decided to have one of the implants removed. And it should have been a very simple surgery. You know, these she could feel it in her arm, and you know, they're just like a pea-sized, you know, area. And it should have been just a small incision to get it out.
Yeah.
Well, the incision that the surgeon did in Iowa State was about 6 inches long. And after the surgery, she asked the doctor if she could see it. You know, he said he removed it, and he wouldn't let her see it, which is against all kinds. It's against protocol. You are allowed to not only see but take possession of anything taken from your body.
Sure.
Well, it turned out, you know, it took 10 stitches to close up this surgical wound because we found out later the reason he didn't want her to see it is because he couldn't find it when he got in there. It kept moving. And you know, if you know anything about implants, they do tend to move around a lot. And so it turned out that she says it's still there. So that doctor could not find it. and he probably didn't want to, search any further because he'd
It's
already made
crazy to hear this stuff.
a decision. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I wanted to ask you about that, because I hear situations where people are saying the scenario was terrorizing, just like with Chad's, and then with the other individual in New Jersey, the guy ran inside and he was trying to hide from it, and he felt like it was tracking him. And I feel like when I listen to Chad's story and him telling, it seems like they're tracking him, right? They're tracking him down the street. I mean, they're not trying to outpace you, right, or do anything like that. They're just trying to hang close to you, is what you felt.
Yeah,
They were trying to almost latch on.
Yeah, they was at my house in Ankeny for the next 2 weeks solid, so I can just keep going on with this story more and more and more for several months. It is crazy. It's crazy to even me say this out of my mouth.
Yeah, I mean,
careers.
Well, I looked at, I think people need to realize when they hear stories like this, think of a population map.
Yeah.
And you see a population heat map in the United States. When you get out in Chad's area, that thing goes dark. There's not a lot of people out there like here in Charlotte or up the eastern seaboard. I mean, we're packed from Florida up I-95 to New York. We're packed out here on the East Coast. Down around Texas, we're packed. It's all packed down here. Where Chad is, I mean, you're going to notice certain lights and when they're coming and going. I'm sorry, that's just how it is. I may not notice it here in Charlotte because lights are common. We got stuff flying around here all the time. I don't even know what you could have encountered. I don't even know if I would have picked up anything on it because I'm in just such a busy area. But I want people to really put themselves in a setting of being in a remote place. I had a friend in Colorado that shared with me his story, and he sounded very close to you as far as what happened, because he does this route every night, but he has to get up and go to work in the middle of the night. So he's like, I'm the only person on the road out here in nowhere, Colorado, and it's pitch black. It's not like the streets are well lit.
Yeah.
And his encounter, when the thing came up, it lit up everything around him. So and it scared him. Now, he wasn't terrorized of the light. It didn't come after him. It didn't encounter with him. He just saw it and was terrorized just by the fact of he's always driving in nothingness every night. When he goes to work, he is in a pitch black scenario for about an hour on that Colorado road. And all of a sudden you're driving down the road and everything's lit up. You don't expect that at 3 a.m, so that's why I'm trying to get people to understand, like, lights should not be behind or in front of Chad's car at 100%. This time of the day, right?
It's not even on the interstate. I'm just on the side, just a 2-lane road. That's crazy.
Yeah. Go ahead, David.
Have you heard about the book called The 37th Parallel?
No.
This is on the 37th longitude. This book was written by Chuck Zukowski. You've probably seen him on the History Channel. And from coast to coast on this latitude, this 37th latitude, it passes through a lot of government bases, and it's just a hot spot for UFOs, from the East Coast to the West Coast. And so there's something about these areas, we call them ley lines or whatever, that tend to generate all these sightings.
Yeah. And I think we hear that a lot from that area of the country where we have this scenario. And maybe, again, it is because of there's a lot of void out there. There's not as much, the skies aren't as busy. Every time I look out here, I see a 737 or an Airbus A319 or 320 flying overhead. I mean, it's lights all night. It's military and medical helicopters all the time. I mean, I'm just constantly seeing something, right? So there's so much noise. That's why I say I don't know if I would pick up on anything, even if something anomalous did happen to me. I'm just going to throw it into the mixed bag of lights I see in the sky. But that's why I just want some fans listening, and you're trying to put yourself in this situation. you can't put yourself in the situation when you're driving down a busy I-95 or I-40 every night, you know, and you're seeing tons of lights. You have to put yourself in a scenario where there should not be lights. And that's what I think strikes me about your case when I heard it, Chad. If you, honestly, if you would have just been a story and you told me you're in this busy area and you saw a plane, I probably wouldn't even had you on, because we have so many reports of that, and people just do misidentifications all the time, and they don't realize what certain things look like. But when I hear someone like you that's out in a remote space and they're reporting stuff like this, that's where it pricks my ears up a little bit more, because, you know, that shouldn't be happening, right?
Yeah. And I've been working with David, you know, ever since I met him, and I want all this to be debunked, and half of it, we can't debunk it. I mean, it's literally there.
No.
So,
well, normally what I would do is look for any plane activity at that night, but the altitude is all wrong. So I can't even go. It doesn't make sense to check flight radar, because nothing would be that close to the ground, unless you're talking about you were in some kind of drone swarm that night. I mean, that's the only conventional thing I could think of. But then why would you be in a drone swarm in the middle of, I don't know. I mean, that's almost crazier to say than the other way around. But that's the only thing conventional I could think of that would be close to the ground, not making sound, and could be in different colors. And that could keep pace with a car. Drones can do that. But, you know, again, why would that activity be going on there? And, you know, and then when you got out of the car, you didn't see, and that's one of the questions I was going to have of you. When you got out of the car and saw the lights, I mean, any motion like that would have made you feel like it was drifting like a drone, or any sound, or did you pick up anything, any kind of signature like that?
there was no sound at all, but you can literally see them like they was like just kind of floating in the air, and the dissipation, or wherever your word you want to call it, but it literally just went away, the roundness, and it went into a shape. So
yeah. So see, and that is something that is so heavily reported by what happened over here.
That one picture where, you know, I think it was my very last photo that I took on my series, where it looks like there's some streams of lights, orbs, and if you zoomed in them, you can see it looked like energy was flowing in them. But I haven't sent you that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and I think that's an interesting part of it, is we hear a lot of that with what happened here on the East Coast, where they were saying it would change. Whatever was over their house, they're watching it, they're tracking it, and all of a sudden the light would change, or the shape of it would change. And that's what got people so confused. Is now, see, here's the juxtaposition of this. When we're here on the East Coast, we know what our lights look like, right? We know what our airplanes and our helicopters. So I think people were and my cats are killing each other. Sorry about that. But we know what the lights look like. So when something comes right over our house and it's hanging out, we're not used to that, right? So that would catch our attention, you know, and then especially if it changes shape or changes anything like that. So,
yeah. Oh, it caught my attention that night, bud.
Yeah. Keep in mind that some of these, you're looking for any kind of sounds. Some of these entities slammed into Chad's car.
Right.
Yeah.
And not only could he hear it, but his sister, who was on the phone, could also hear this, you know.
That's right. That's right. So, I mean, it's not. Go ahead.
There wasn't one dent on my vehicle when I got out, but it literally hit the side of my vehicle, and it didn't feel like a car accident. You know, I'm sure everybody's been in a car accident. We know when it slams, we can feel it. But it hit me so hard, and it was just like a nice push, but it shoved me off the side of the road.
Yeah, it's almost like they have some kind of energy source, but it's
right in there. Yep.
You know, if what is true that we hear about some of these things, that they can manipulate space and time, and they can wrap themselves in these envelopes that essentially can create these energy sources around them, these like pockets of energy. That could explain like it able to interact with you to where you can feel it, but it's also not going to cause a conventional damage that we would think, right? Of, metal on metal contact or something like that. That's not what we're dealing with here. If you're dealing with something that could have been an energy source, maybe it doesn't lead that. Well, I mean, have you had any weird symptoms after this encounter? Like, and again, don't share anything you're not comfortable with, but I mean, like insomnia, or like, are you dealing with like anything that
So
you
the
weren't
only
dealing
thing that I've been dealing with is from my waist down, and even the vehicle that I had before I got rid of it, that Equinox, it would literally vibrate. It's not muscle spasms in me. It's literally like a vibration sensor, and that stopped maybe February of this year. But other than that, man, I get off work at 5 o'clock. I'm home by 5:30. Take my dog out for a shit, and I'm drinking and eating, and I'm in bed by 7 o'clock. I don't want to deal with it. So other than that, not really, bud. Not that
you
I'm
know.
aware of.
And I don't know if David can share, like if he knows of some cases, but you know, right, David, there's sometimes you hear the report of interactions and people come away with, you know, some type of either burn, or now they get migraines, or they're dealing with some kind of symptom after going through an experience. Obviously that would happen in probably abduction scenarios, but that's the only reason I ask is because you did have that gap in time, right? So I didn't know if you were left behind with anything that kind of was some kind of
Not that
symptom.
I'm aware of. I'm still learning this every day, and that's why I got to.
You know, Chad experienced a gap in time, but his sister, who was on the phone with him the entire time, said that, you know, she was talking to him. So I don't think there was really a lost time incident. I think it was more probably an incident where the entities created amnesia in Chad, it's one way or another. You know, just like when you go into the hospital and, you know, you're put out, you don't remember any of that, right? So I think that's more than likely what's happened, I think.
Yeah. And I mean, I have certainly heard of people going into something that is so shocking that, you know, they'll also lose track of that, or they forget all about it. You know, I've heard of people dealing with trauma, for example, and you go back and ask them about that scenario. So yeah, to your point, they could have caused something, and it could have also been, who knows? I mean, it could have been Chad, you know, like, this is freaking me out so much, and your brain like protects you from that moment almost. You know, maybe it's one of those things where you hear about people doing the regression type therapy to try to go back and deal with things that they may have, their brain has shut out, right? That their brain has said, no, this was a highly emotional situation. I'm trying to protect you from it. And your brain shuts that out of your life until someone tries to go peel that back. Yeah. Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah. His sister thought, you know, that he might have post-traumatic syndrome. And he just blanked it out, you know, because he's so freaked out.
Yeah. And I mean, that makes perfect sense too. So, you know, any other parts of the story that we should know thereafter, or anything else that, that, or have you taken any more photos, for example, or anything that you feel like that's encounter worthy?
I got at least good 10 more months. I've showed David a few of them. The only thing that I would like to share that goes back to this night, and I quit this job about 2 months after the fact, but I was on Highway 20 leaving Fort Dodge, and I remember pulling off the side of the road on Quentin Avenue. I mean, everybody can look this up. And if I did not see the road, this is the craziest shit, split behind me. I mean, I literally was slowing down, and I was trying to keep the traffic up. Those 4 lights I seen that night. That's what the part of my story I'm trying to tell you is I seen that. And I was watching them following me again. And it looked like the road had stretched behind my vehicle. And whatever vehicles that was behind me looked like they got pushed back. And those 4 lights went around me. And then that's about all I want to say is it's the shit's it's real. The shit's real. It's crazy as it is.
So it's something that can potentially revisit. And I'm just wondering, have you heard any other stories other than the one I've told you tonight?
No, that's what I've been doing on TikTok. That's why I found you, because, you know, I do that TikTok of death, and I just scroll all night long trying to get myself to sleep. And I don't find anything like my case. You know, before I met David, I'm telling you, I literally thought I was going nuts. I was watching Skinwalkers over at my mom's house, and I seen the Nick Pope on there. I didn't even know who the hell Nick Pope was. And
Yeah.
I went home one night and I just started Googling him. I found his email and he sent me to David and these guys. And best thing he ever did, seriously. I think if I didn't meet David and have him went to some of these MUFON events with these guys, I think I probably went nuts by now.
Yeah. Yeah. We've had Nick on 2 or 3 times on the channel. And that's normally what happens, right, in the scenarios, is making sure that people are pushed to a credible source where they can help them deal with it, like David and others.
Yeah, I appreciate him. I really do.
So as we close out here, I really want to thank you, Chad, for sharing this. It takes bravery to want to share your story. But I think people also need to realize that you're truth searching as well, right? Just like you said, you're trying to see.
I'm trying to figure this out, bud.
Wouldn't you love to come across a video when you're swiping one night where you see exactly what you saw that night and someone else saw it? And I think that's what people need to realize. The humanizing factor here is you're just trying to do your best to. My buddy in Colorado, when he had his encounter, he didn't even want to tell anybody about it for days. I mean, A, he was afraid, and B, he was like, you know what, that happened to me by myself out in desolation. I mean, is it even going to help to share it with anyone? But, it's such a life-changing thing when it happens. I'm not an experiencer. I've never seen anything, but I can only imagine just doing your normal thing every night and then having this scenario roll on you. You didn't ask for it, right? So
nope, not at all, buddy. Not at all.
So I definitely appreciate you sharing. And then Dave, I appreciate you coming on, supporting Chad and for what you do out there in Iowa. And definitely Google David. He has, how many books have you written, David, now?
Excuse me. I've written 5 books. This is my latest book that just came out.
Yep.
And my second, I write about science and philosophy. And my second book was given the National Independent Publishers Award for that book. So I guess I have some credibility as far as my science writing.
Yeah, this is one of those, right?
Yes.
Okay. Wanted to make sure. I kind of snuck it in there earlier. I didn't know if you saw it when I pulled it up, but I was wanting to make sure I pulled it up so fans could see it. But yeah, definitely. Yeah. Go right ahead, Dave.
Yeah, I have a website that has some of my best cases, that I've investigated. It has my books. I also do book reviews. There's dozens of book reviews. And it's davekreiter.com is my website.
We will link it below when we run this, because that's actually where Chad sent me to find this case. So I did find it on the top of the list, and there is a lot of interesting stuff there. So thanks to you both. I appreciate having you both on.
You tell Hannibal I said thank you.
Hopefully we get to talk again soon.
Thank you.
We'll do it.